Hi everyone, my name is Charlie, and today I am joined by.
Charlie Brooke, sorry.
Thank you. I had expected her to say the exact same as me. I was hoping for a two Ronnie situation, and I failed.
Charlie, sorry, you can say it again.
Oh no, I don't want to. And today we are here to discuss our most anticipated reads of 2022 that have either not been released or we have not read yet. Would that be right?
That's the name of the game, Charlie.
There is another video out there currently that we have recorded for Charlie's channel, so I do recommend that you go and watch that first. Or you can do these things back to front as you so wish.
We don't mind.
We support time travel. Being incredibly selfish, I'm going to things with me over on this channel, for it is all about me. It's the reason that I only have a co-star who shares the same name as me, so you'll never forget it. The first book that I am looking forward to over here is Babel by R.F.Kuang. Now, I didn't know that this book was going to exist. I saw that it was talked about on Twitter, but I had absolutely no idea that it was coming out. I really enjoyed the Poppy War series, which I believe the final book, The Burning God, came out in 2019 or 2020. But this is a complete departure from that, in that it seems to be a dark academia novel set in Oxford in 1836. And Robin Swift has been brought to this Royal Institute of Translation called Babel by a mysterious guardian. But now it has become a prison, and can a student stand against an empire? That is all the information I've got about it. I think that the Waterstones exclusive cover is brilliant, and I am probably going to order that copy. I know that she can write. I know that she isn't afraid of torturing her characters. And I know that the author also, when I say about torturing characters, I mean that to advance the plot, she isn't afraid of actual real world situations happening to her character.
And consequences, yeah.
And consequences. And you can really tell that she has studied and researched when it comes to the Poppy War trilogy. And I look forward to seeing what she's done with Babel.
I've never been interested in the Poppy War series, being honest, but this one sounds good.
I can understand that. It's a bit grim.
It sounds brutal. It just sounds really, really brutal.
Brutal is the correct word for it, yeah. Brutal, dark. You think that it's going to go one way and it doesn't go that way. It starts dark, it ends dark. It doesn't get better than dark, but it does show the horrors of war. So I don't know what else we could expect, really. Anyway, what is your next book?
My one is one that I wonder if it's on your list. Is 100 Queer Poems by edited by Andrew McMillan and Mary Jean Chan. Is this on your list?
It is not on my list because I have the arc of the book already and I'm halfway through reading it. So
I'm jealous.
But it's only an e-arc from NetGalley, and I was pre-approved by the publisher, so I can understand why this would be on your list. From what I've read so far, there are some great poems in there, and I think that you will appreciate the reading experience of it, because it's not just because it is 100 queer poems. There are so many different experiences in there, so many different poets, so many different poetic styles as well. So there's definitely going to be something for a lot of different people in here. And I think that the way that they position certain poems next to each other in terms of creating the collection is something that you'll find appealing as well.
100% want to get that. Hopefully get it next week. When's your one coming out? When's Babel coming out? Did you say that already?
I didn't say that. I believe that Babel is out in September. Is there anything you wanted to say about the collection?
I mean, just I wanted to read it. Yeah, it just sounds like a really diverse collection. I'm just super excited to get to it.
The next book I have on the list was the one that I'd wondered whether you had seen. And also, before we were recording this video, I was going to spoil this book because I didn't know whether this is the book that everyone has been talking about. So if you didn't know, Charlie and I joined the Booker Boy book club run by KD Books last week. And I've seen a lot of people talking about The Colony.
Oh, I do want to read that.
But the one I've got listed is by Audrey Magee.
I believe that this is the one that everyone has been talking about. And there's part of me that read the premise and thought, is this just like a literary version of The Wicker Man? So Mr. Love has decided to travel to an island in this boat without an engine but another man called Mr. Matson is also going to be arriving, and they are going to strive to encapsulate the truth of the place. But the people who live on the rock have their own views on what is being recorded, what is being taken, and what is given in return. It says the islanders are going to be forced to question what they value and desire, and that the visitors head home, but there's going to be a reckoning, which is where my whole thing of it sounds like the Wicker Man comes from. But as we know, I do have this tendency to not belittle plots, but find links to other things, as I did in your video with the book where I referenced Death on the Nile, and as I have done with...
That's the joy of it, though, trying to find links to the books. But sometimes it can be a good thing. It can build the book up, and sometimes it can, like, knock it down.
But if it is anything like the Wicker Man, I will be terrified. That's all I've got in my mind now. I can just remember, not even seeing the film. I just switched over to BBC4 one night and there was this man being burned alive. And that's stuck in my head since I was 11 years old. So, yeah.
Don't want that then. I'm looking forward to that, the colony, Charlie.
I mean, I like how enthusiastic you said that, so that everybody can't tell that we had to edit that in due to all of the issues that we had talking.
You can say it more subtly if you want. I can do like levels of it.
It's fine. I want to leave that there simply because it has taken us forever just to talk about The Colony by Audrey and Magee. So this is either going to be a book that we both wholeheartedly love, or the universe is trying to tell us that we aren't going to like this book. This could be a cursed book for us. Everybody else loves it and we dislike it. Like,
it's going to be a new sorrow and bliss, Charlie.
I was going to say that. That is exactly how I was going to describe this, but I also thought maybe Charlie doesn't want to be associated with that book anymore. What's your next book?
So my next book is Dele, Weds, Destiny by Tomi Obaro. It's 3 women, 3 decades, the friendship of a lifetime. And we follow Zainab, Funmi, and Anita, friends since university days, I think. It sounds brilliant.
It sounds, to me, I'm drawing parallels with a Ruth Jones book you read.
Oh, yes. The Us 3.
Us 3, that was it, yeah.
I love books with 3 friends because growing up, and I'm still friends to these girls today. Since I was 11, I was friends with these 2 girls. So there was 3 of us, and so books about friendship and specifically 3 friends, I love.
Well, that was what my question was going to be. Is this like a
Theme.
style of a theme or a style of book that you head towards often? Yeah.
Yeah, because I relate to it because I love that. I love it.
So if you have any further books where there are 3 friendships in general, or just books about friends, then do let Charlie know in the comments.
Yes, that's true.
Either over here or over on her channel.
Your next book, Charlie.
My next book it's like this, because it's 2 books, but they're being released at the same time, and one is called A Companion to the Other. And this is The Passenger / Stella Maris by Cormac McCarthy.
Oh, okay.
So this is the first book that he's had released in like an age, and I believe you get in one book and then the following book comes out a month later. But the way they're describing the books is that one is working as the companion to the other. So you have The Passenger, which is the story of a salvage diver haunted by loss, pursued for a conspiracy beyond his understanding. And it mentions a sunken jet, 9 passengers and a missing body. But then when it describes Stella Maris, it talks about the masterful coder to The Passenger, and that it's the story of a mathematician who's 20 years old, admitted to the hospital with $40,000 in a plastic bag and one request: she does not want to talk to her brother. And supposedly these novels are working in conjunction with each other, but due to the length of them, it seems as though they are creating one overall story arc.
Honestly, that sounds amazing.
So I didn't know how to talk about one without talking about the other,
No,
despite
that's fine.
that they could count as 2 books. See what I mean?
No,
But
I think we can count them as either. Whatever works for you, Charlie.
I haven't read Cormac McCarthy in a long time. I was first introduced to him at uni when someone gave me the book No Country for Old Men, believing that it wouldn't appeal to me, that it went against all of my tastes and sensibilities. And I just really adored that book and found it talked about life really well. It was written in this very fast-paced style that also seemed to just say so much. I've read a few of the books from the Border trilogy. I think I got through 2 of them, and I have Blood Meridian on my shelves to read. And again, this is a writer who isn't necessarily afraid to talk about more brutal aspects within his.
I've only read The Road by him, which is actually behind me. Another one. And today.
Well, you see, I haven't read The Road specifically because it's
really
so different to all of the other books that he's released.
Oh, really? So that's good to note, because then if I was to obviously read, I have to bear that in mind. But it sounds like similar in terms of the darkness and the sparseness, and
he has a specific style and is known for that. But topic-wise, I would say that The Road is different.
Yeah.
Other people might disagree because I haven't read that one yet. Again, if you have any ideas about where Charlie should go next with Cormac McCarthy having enjoyed The Road, then let us know. What's your next book?
The next one I've got is one that I think could be on your list, but I haven't looked. No, so I'm trying to work it out like alphabetically whether it still counts, but yes, I think it could. Yes, it could. The Marriage Portrait. Is that on your list?
No.
Whoa.
So you talk about this book, and I will express why it's not on my list.
This was like my one that I'm not the most excited about, being honest, but I'm still, because I did love the Hamnet one.
So this is by Maggie O'Farrell.
Yeah, sorry, Maggie O'Farrell, the Marriage Portrait. Sorry, and this is out in August, and it's set at the heart of the treacherous political world of the Italian Renaissance, the story of a young woman's battles for survival. So yeah, I think it's like a young teenage girl married off. And
so the reason that I didn't include this one is specifically because I have read 3 books by Maggie O'Farrell now. I've read This Must Be the Place, I Am, and Hamnet. And out of those 3, I only liked Hamnet, and the other 2 didn't have the best experiences with. And in terms of writing, I've seen in other books where I've either DNF'd them or just realised it wasn't for me. There have been a lot more misses than there have been hits when it comes to Maggie O'Farrell. So I didn't want to include that here because it is a book that I will probably pick up if I see it, but it's not one that I'm like wholeheartedly wanting to go and pick up and read.
I'm the same, honestly, but I'm like, if I get like me, it's like a library one. Do you know what I mean? It's like one I'd test out in the library and then.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I'm open to the idea of reading it and possibly liking it.
I'm not desperately running to the shops.
Yeah, that's it. I don't have like this desperation, this yearning to get that one on my shelves.
I'll be interested to see what everyone else makes of it. I was going to say if anyone read it, but it's not out to August, so no one would have read it yet, apart from the booktube.
People will have read ARCs and will have their opinions about this one already, and good for them. So,
what's your next one, Charlie?
The next one I have is Lucy by the Sea by Elizabeth Strout, and this is out in autumn, I think. And so this is the 4th in the Lucy Barton series, following My Name is Lucy Barton, Anything is Possible, Oh William. And this one, William, who was the titular character of the most recent book, is Lucy's ex-husband and is pleading with her to leave New York and escape to a coastal house he's rented in Maine. And she has agreed, but the weeks have turned into months. Now, with it mentioning 2020, I'm wondering whether they're going to be trapped there due to COVID. I don't know. There's no mention of that in the blurb. What's more talked about here is the connection between these 2 characters, because throughout the novels, you've got the idea that they were married, they've got divorced, but they still get on with each other. There has perhaps still been this relationship there, this idea that they're getting on because of their daughters, but there's also been Lucy recognising she doesn't feel the same way about this man as she did do when we first read My Name is Lucy Barton. So it will be interesting if COVID does become a thing in this book that thrusts them together. But even if it's absent, it will be interesting to read about these 2 characters who talked about not caring for each other in this particular way before, stuck together in this house.
The fluidity of it, like that sounds Sounds good.
But also, I do think that Strout captures emotion and captures people very well in all the books that I've read. So I'm intrigued to see how this one goes.
Yeah, I do. I do look forward to starting that series.
And what's your next book?
My next book is Love and Virtue by Diana Reid, which is predominantly, it's like a campus novel, I believe. And we follow two friends, Michaela and Eve. And the book sort of tackles consent. It's meant to be tension. It's set in Sydney. It's an Australian writer. I think it's meant to be quite a dark one. Some like Gunpowder. I heard it mentioned by Scott from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. He's raved about this book quite a lot. He referenced Dark Vanessa, and other people are saying Rooney, so Sally Rooney. So I think it's like a combo of those two types of writing. But the book just sounds so good. So yeah, Michaela's had all these. Apparently had like goes into this book and has some very dark experiences and some things happening. It's sort of, and then it's whether Eve, how supportive Eve is with her of things that have happened, and yeah.
And it's mentioning friendship again, which you've just said.
Yes, it's something kind of like
one of the themes for you, but also seems like it's talking about a friendship that might have some fissures, some cracks there. There's definitely some tension within the friendship.
Yeah. And some dark stuff, and I think there's like a talk of a relationship with the teacher potentially, and like whether I think it's Michaela has a relationship with the teacher, and obviously Eve doesn't approve, and I'm excited for it.
I was saying it wouldn't have been on this list if we weren't looking. Well, if you weren't looking forward to it.
Well, I put Maggie O'Farrell on here, so.
Well, you know, someone's always got to go home first.
I tried to fill a spot, so. I'd be excited to hear what other people think about it.
It's the Serena Cha-Cha of our list.
Yes, that is completely right. Good reference.
I feel like you'll be able to guess my final book because I talked about it on the video on one of our channels, but it is All About Evie by Matson Taylor, the second book following the miseducation of Evie Epworth. Despite the fact that I was not approved for an arc of this one, and despite the envy and jealousy I feel at other reviewers who have received this book through the last few months and have reviewed it and read it and getting all sorts of enthusiastic about it, I'm still looking forward to it. So this one is set 10 years after the miseducation of Evie Epworth, and Evie is now working as a production assistant for the BBC. She's no longer in Yorkshire, she's moved down to London. And what I like from the blurb, so I'm going to read this, is following an unfortunate incident involving a Hornsey pottery mug and Princess Anne, she finds herself having to rethink her future. And then this time around, you have a lot about strikes and everything going on during the 1970s, being in your mid-20s and the unsurety surrounding that. And apparently certain characters that we met in the first book are going to appear within this one. I know from watching interviews with the author that he does a lot of research about the times, and so you can expect that it's going to have good writing that's going to be very evocative of the era, sometimes like infused with a bit of Alan Bennett and classic Northern humour in there. But it's also the references. And as we know, I like when somebody gets a reference right. And it's when they get stuff wrong that really gets to me, as evidenced by certain books that you've heard me rant about in the last few months. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings up in this book. And I also like the way that he manages to evoke a time period. And also, one thing that I like about Matson Taylor's works is that, unlike certain writers who are writing these tales where the working classes are usually in having very tumultuous, awful times in life and these terrible goings on, Matson Taylor still manages to point out the issues that working class folk might have in life, but he still manages to capture those moments of joy. And he still does this thing that I think a lot of people do from these backgrounds, and they still make light of it and they still make jokes of it. I just really like the way that he crafts characters, and it suits my sensibilities. And is one of those things where I always say, if you've ever enjoyed my books, then I think you'll enjoy his. So there we go. That one was my final book, which means that you should have one book left on your list.
And it's
Correct?
it's a quickie to talk about because
Okay.
it's just a graphic novel. It's called Everything Is Okay by Debbie Tung.
I have never heard of this one.
Debbie Tung is the author of Quiet Girl in a Noisy World, an introvert story, which I just love. It's another graphic novel, obviously, and it's just what it's like when you're an introvert, and it's bloody gorgeous. I love it. So yeah, so her next one, which is out again, this one is out on my birthday. Are you going to tell me that it's being cancelled, Charlie?
Okay, I mean, that's in reference to something that happened last week, so go on, tell me what this book is. We'll find out.
And it's a story of Debbie Tung's experience of anxiety and depression. And it is due out on October 13th. Please don't tell me that it's being cancelled.
What's this one called again?
Everything Is Okay by Debbie Tung.
Okay, I'll find out for you. So we'll look
Try
at
and break my heart on camera again.
22. Did you say 6th of September?
I did not say 6th of September. I think it's October 13th, but it doesn't matter if it's earlier the better. It doesn't
Okay,
matter.
that could be an American date then. You're correct. In the UK, Everything Okay by Debbie Tung is due to be released on the 13th of October 20.
Yay!
Everybody now knows when Charlie's birthday is. I imagine she will probably put a wish list out closer to the time.
I will not.
I know she won't. She's not that kind of person, but I'm just incredibly mean. You can get your celebrations ahead, you know. Get everyone to go out and buy a party hat for you.
Everyone's saving their party hats for your birthday, Charlie.
Oh no, you see, I don't celebrate mine. That's
Yes, well, we will all be. I'll be celebrating my birthday. Your birthday, enough anyway.
Them's the books.
Them's the books.
If you want to read any of these books or have done so already and would like to share your thoughts, then please feel free to do so in the comments. You can find Charlie over at Charlie Brook. Is there anything you wish to say before we end things here?
Just bye-bye and thank you for watching.
Well, there you go. That, as I say, that is the kindest you're ever going to see on this channel. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you didn't, bog off. And until next time, that is all.